to use yoga blocks as we are doing this class from a chair. So anytime that we are doing a class from a chair, we might want to experiment with putting something under the feet. This way we are able to line up the knees with the hip bone, or even bring the knees a little higher than the hip bone. So ultimately what we're doing is we're moving a single bone, the largest bone in the body, the femur bone. And most chairs are created to accommodate a specific height with specific proportions on an average man, not woman. So a lot of times what you'll see is for women, as we sit in a chair, you'll notice that your knees are a little lower than your hip bone. So what's happening here with the femur bone is with pressure, it's slightly pressing back when you have the knee lower than the hip. It's almost like you're doing this from a seated position with pressure into the joint. So one of the easiest ways to maybe promote a little more comfort is to elevate those feet. And we could use a nice squishy bolster. We don't have to use blocks. If there's any maybe sensitivity or pain in the feet, as is common with diabetes, right? You could use something soft and squishy, like a bunch of blankets, or even like if you have like little tiny balls that we use like in Pilates and stuff, you can have that under the feet too. It doesn't have to be yoga blocks, but just take a moment and check in. Did this make a difference for anyone? Is anyone noticing maybe a shift in the comfort in their bodies, or just a different sensation? So now we have that femur bone just kind of sitting back in this really nice, comfortable angle, sort of opening up or making space in that energy of the hips and the low back. Now, we can always sit at the edge of the chair as we begin. Sitting near the edge of the chair or away from the back of the chair is going to require that some different muscles get recruited so that we're able to keep the spine nice and tall. And sometimes this can create more pressure on the spine. So notice, as we're creating the foundation for our practice, notice how you feel when you are away from the back of the chair, and then maybe sit back and allow the body to slightly recline back into the chair. And just notice, where are you able to create the most comfort in the body for yourself in this moment? And you can change your mind at any time during the class. As we begin, we may also want to experiment with turning the palms up versus palms down. So turning the palms up is the quickest way to get the shoulders back and down. Now, in cases of chronic pain, the body usually really goes into like a very hyper-vigilant state of protection. So it's really common to see a posture that's more like this. The protective self really comes out in the physical body. And usually when the protective self is here, it's more comfortable also to rotate in and to have the hands close. So opening up is an option. You can always try sitting up tall with the shoulders back and then rotate the palms down. Over time, that has the potential to get uncomfortable just because there are some tiny muscles here that have to work to keep the shoulders back and the palms down. It's just a different type of energy that the body recruits. So palms up or down, but keep in mind that your body's going to adapt, and I'll continue to provide reminders for posture and breath throughout the entire class. All right, so you can change your mind at any time. This is a class taught from the chair, and you are welcome to stand whenever it feels right for your body, whether you're familiar with the yoga poses or not. Remember to do whatever you feel is right for your body. In fact, seated, proper posture, 90 degrees with the knees, is one of the most unhealthy positions for our body. It's been proven with MRIs and CAT scans. This actually puts the most pressure on the spine. uncomfortable seated, just know that's really common. The body does get uncomfortable when it's seated for a long time. All right, so let's begin with just a little bit of breath awareness and noticing the different parts of the body. So we'll take a moment first and allow ourselves to notice or to pay attention to any sensations that we have come in with today. Anything that may have brought us here today. Now, since this is a class addressing pain, let's go ahead and just think about those parts of the body that may be a little achy today, or they may be a lot of achy today. Let's acknowledge those places and those spaces in the body. You can keep your eyes opened or closed. I will just ask that maybe just for a moment that we all look down towards the floor and rest the gaze. And while we are resting our gaze today, if you would, this is to help me to provide some of the most quality instruction today, but if you would, maybe point to or put a hand on any part of your body that you feel is a little achy today, or if it's a lot of achy today. And it could be different parts of the body. And as I'm looking around the room and noticing those places that we're taking care of today, this is just going to help me to remember to provide opportunities to experiment in the class today. So I do see shoulders, wrists, back, hips. I know we have knees. So as we're moving through the class, you might notice that I'll give a lot of different options in postures, remembering that there is no one way to do a pose. If anything, we are all creating our own personal practice in this group class. So surely we're not all going to look the same. From this place of awareness in the body, let's draw in a deep inhale, as deep as the body permits, and hold it for maybe just 3 or 4 counts, then we'll let it go with a sigh. When you're ready, big breath in. Holding, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Now notice if your body wanted to hold that breath a little longer. And I encourage you to take your sweet time with the breath. If you ever feel rushed with my cueing, remember that this is about your time, this is your practice, do what feels right for you. If you want to hold it a little longer, let's try that now. Taking in a deep breath through the nose as much as possible, and then just pausing. You're welcome to release that breath at any time. Hold it for as long as it feels right for you. And maybe instead of holding the breath, you begin to feel that the body as a container is embracing the breath. We embrace the breath. We begin to tune into the fullness of the breath in the body, noticing how the expansion of the lungs, the fullness of the breath, may create different sensations. Maybe the fullness of the breath takes away certain sensations in the body. We may want to try this at least 1 or 2 more times, taking a deep breath, pausing at the top of the breath to study what is it to feel full with the breath. Noticing the parts of the body that surround the lungs that ever so compassionately hug against the life force. Embrace the life force. And then let it go. You may want to continue studying the breath and feeling for that sensation of fullness in your body and noticing the other parts of the body that reveal sensations or dismiss sensations with the breath. If you think you'd like to practice a a unique breathing technique with me today. You're welcome to join me in this technique. It's used to improve communication between the left and right brain hemispheres. The breath is called alternate nostril breathing, and it can be done with the hands, or it can be done just with the power of suggestion. So we do not have to touch our face or move the body to do this breathing technique. If you're curious to try using the hands with this, I'm using my right hand. I'm right-handed, so you can use your right or your left hand. And I'm taking my peace fingers, the index and middle finger, curling them down so that you have your ring finger and your thumb available to do this breathing technique. If you've never done this before and you think maybe you want to watch it first, you're welcome to watch me a couple of times. And of course, you're also welcome to join in if you're familiar with it. So to begin, we press the thumb on the outside of the right nostril, and we take a single inhale in through the left nostril. Pause, take the ring finger and close off the left nostril, and now exhale, inhale on the right. At the top of that breath, at the top of the inhale, close off the right nostril, and we'll exhale, inhale, left. So we continue to alternate, exhale, inhale, switch. Continue with the alternating nostril technique. Again, we can keep this with the hands, or we can lower the hands and simply be aware of the energy shifting to one side as we exhale, inhale at the top of the breath. It shifts to the other side. Exhale, inhale. Sometimes the body establishes the rhythm pretty quick, and maybe we're noticing some discomforts. If we want, we can always count the breath while we exhale and inhale. We can count each moment that's passing. So we're integrating the technique of recruiting an inner voice to coach us through each moment of each inhale and each exhale. Exhale, inhale, shift. Exhale, inhale, shift. Let's take at least one quiet minute to practice this so you have some quiet time to recruit that inner voice. Ready, we exhale on the right, then inhale through both nostrils. Bring the breath in to both lungs and to both nostrils, having a sense of centering the breath energetically. If we notice at any point that there are maybe subtle obstructions in the nostrils, that is really common. It could be, who knows, just mucus. It could be various membranes, blood vessels that swell up. The seasons are changing right now, so that is very common. left, maybe we notice that there is a shift in sensation. Maybe there's more of a sense of pressure or grounding or weight in the left hip. Maybe push your right hip down while we keep the weight shifted over to the left, and notice any sensations that can shift as we press that right hip down while we're shifted to the left. Bring it through center, centering the energy. Shift it over to the right. You might even lighten up on that left hip to get some of the energy really saturated on the right side of the body. And again, notice, does it feel heavy? Does it feel grounded? Is there a lot of pressure? Is there a contraction in that space? As you stay shifted into that right hip, maybe press the left hip down and notice if there are any sensations that shift. Maybe there are sensations that move or disappear altogether. Moving through the center, shifting again left and right. Now, as we continue to shift and explore the sensations in our body, at some point in that shift, we might find a place where we feel centered. So if we're not sensing that centered place quite yet, then let's check for the imbalance, right? One of the ways to find that centered place is to really feel when we are off center. Notice your range of motion in that shift, and maybe just move now with half your effort. So however big the body is interpreting the movement to be right now, take that effort and that energy and reduce it by half. Only put half your effort into the shift, and maybe you only move through half your range of motion. So we're beginning to refine those sensations in the body, bringing them closer to center. As we continue to refine those sensations, it's possible to come to a point where we may not even see the body moving. We may not even have a sense of the weight shifting in the hips, and yet we may still notice that there's an energy that swings from left to right. Let's try that same thing, shifting forward and back very gently with the body. So we're exploring different planes of movement. Take your energy forward with the trunk of the body, or maybe even tilt the hips back a little bit. Let's come to seated at neutral. And then from neutral, leaning back just a little bit. Now, we all have what we call tipping points. Especially if you're seated on the edge of the chair, we all have a very delicate tipping point. So when we're leaning forward, just staying very mindful of being grounded through the soles of the feet, so as not to tip over in the chair. And then you come through center, lean back just a little bit. Notice if there are sensations that maybe signal to your body feelings of comfort or discomfort, so that maybe we begin to refine the practice so that we're moving through the discomfort, and maybe the body is guiding us into a place where there is more ease, more comfort. Let's take a moment and center the body. So coming to a still point from forward and back. Now what happens when we maybe turn a little bit? So if we angle the belly button just a little bit towards our left or right knee, and then we move forward there. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And when you're ready, bring it up. Angling the belly button, the heart, the chin towards center. Gently leading, swiveling just slightly at the waist with the belly button. And the ribs, the shoulders, head and neck may follow. And then shifting forward slightly. Easy does it here. become aware of the expression on our faces. You know, it is possible sometimes when we're taking different types of medications to manage the discomforts, it's possible maybe to not know when the body is in pain because the medicines that we take may be masking damage that we're doing to our bodies, right? Sometimes these sensations are good for us to have. It helps us to avoid further damage. If you're not having a lot of feeling with your body, notice the expression on your face. There's this really great saying that we have. It's, I'm sorry for the things that my face said when you were talking to me today. We're not saying a word. But what is the expression on your face? Is there any tension around your eyes? Pain can definitely reveal itself through tension in the face, tension in the jaw. Maybe move into a place, pause, soften your gaze, and try smiling. Notice if there's any resistance to that expression of joy. And if there is that resistance to that expression of joy, is that the body speaking to us, saying, this is not for me, this is not how I express joy. So maybe we reposition the trunk of the body and we find a different position. And maybe you begin to explore planes of movement that are outside of forward and back, side to side, diagonal. You can even begin sort of just oscillating around your center of gravity. Moving nice and slow, noticing any subtle sensations. And at first, as we notice these sensations, of course, no judgment. We're attempting to be as objective as possible so that we're able to clearly see what the body is saying to us through the felt sense. At some point, we might determine, okay, the body is saying, I like this. This is a good stretch. This is a good feeling. Or maybe the body says, this is not for me. We may want to move through that sensation, away from that sensation, or we could pause and embrace stillness at any time to really study that sensation. Give it a color. Give it a shape. Does it make a sound? Does it move? And if it does move, how does it move? Perhaps the subtle sensations inspire organic movement. Anything goes here. Allow your body to move in the next minute in any natural way. So apart from any instruction that I could offer, let the body be the guide. Ultimately, the body is the teacher. I'm just here to introduce some creative ways, allowing the body to speak itself. But ultimately, our body is the guide, the body is the teacher. Now, you might notice that you want to stay with organic movement. Maybe your body wants to do its own thing. And really, our bodies need to do their own thing. But if you are curious to experiment with maybe some different movements that could introduce some different feelings, first, let's come to a still point. Let's find that point where we feel centered in our bodies. So centering gravity, not balancing, because sometimes when we attempt to balance the weight in our body, that creates pain. we might want to be a little off balance, and yet we feel centered. It's okay to lean a little bit to the left or the right. It's okay to lean forward or back. Let go of the notion that anything ever has to be balanced. From here, we can turn one or both hands over, and let's draw that left elbow back and in towards the waist. As we inhale, we might look over to the left as we begin sweeping the arm up and overhead, only as high as the body permits. Sometimes pain is the way of the body saying no, and we want to listen to the body. Just like we have boundaries, maybe moral and ethical, emotional boundaries, the body is speaking its physical boundaries. When somebody tells me, when I do this, it hurts, what do? I say, don't do that. Don't do that. As we exhale, let's slowly take that hand back, bend the elbow. We want to shorten that leg length because that could be taking some load off the shoulders, the neck, and the spine. We could always rest that hand down and switch sides. Inhaling, elbow in, gently circling and sweeping towards the sky, only lifting as high as the body permits. Breathing into the upper arm and upper armpit region, and then exhale, slowly bringing it down. Now, you are welcome to move with your breath. At any time, if you're noticing that you feel rushed by the breath, maybe your body wants to go slower than one movement for an inhale, one movement for an exhale, that's okay. Breathe through it. Breathe through it in any way. Inhaling through the nose as much as possible, knowing at any time we could inhale through the mouth. As long as we're breathing, we're doing yoga. We can keep this flow with the alternating arms, or you can do both arms. And we can change the breath as well to Ujjayi, inhaling through the nose. Exhale from the throat as if you're going to fall a mirror. We may want to keep this Ujjayi expression with the lips open, or gently close the lips. So gently let the lips press. And exhale with that same, with the lips pressing together. And we may begin to tune into just a very soft sound that the breath makes. Almost a hollow sound in the back of the throat. Sometimes we call this the scuba diver breath in kids yoga, or the Darth Vader breath in kids yoga. Now, in cases where we know that maybe we're holding tension in the hips, the buttocks, the low back, or the thighs, I recommend that you stay with the jaw relaxed and exhale like you're going to fall a mirror. Relaxing the jaw can sometimes relieve pressure in those lower extremity areas. Maybe just one or two more easy movements with your breath. Let's eventually meet in any still place if it feels right for your body. From here, let's bring the hands in front of the body, lace the fingers together. Invert the palms just slightly, and we'll exhale, pull the belly button in, and maybe press the palms out away, lowering the chin in towards the chest. We can inhale, bring the palms towards the body, release the hands, Round the spine, maybe press those hands out. And placing the fingers is just an option to experiment with. If this creates any discomfort at all, release the fingertips. Inhale, and then exhale. And there's an affirmation that I love with this particular movement. As you bring in, draw in the pranic force. May we only take what is really ours. What's mine is mine. What's mine is mine. And then as you exhale, what's yours is yours. Let's give back. What is it that we may be able to let go of? Even just a little bit. Let go of just a little bit today. What's mine is mine. What belongs to us? Healing, love, power, compassion, forgiveness, fruits of the Spirit. And as we exhale, what do we give back? What could we just give of ourselves? Let go of fear, shame, guilt, grief, suffering, the ego, mistrust. Give that back to the universe. The universe opens up and says, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take it. I will transform it. It will come back to you as all the goodness that you deserve. Inhale. What's mine is mine. And exhale. Aparigraha. Let it go. What's yours is yours. Let's do maybe just one more. And of course, you can stay with this. You can do this. This is it's a nice moving meditation. It's a way to be able to kind of symbolize the mantra, symbolize the affirmation, building muscle memory and growing a positive mind through movement, mind connection. What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours. And maybe this doesn't just go for us. Maybe you're carrying someone else's pain right now. Is it possible? Is it possible for us to carry someone else's pain? Maybe. You're welcome to keep using the hands or place the hands down on the knees as we move into a little bit of seated cat and cow. Moving forward with the belly, pulling up through the ribs, and maybe lifting the chin just a little bit, softening the gaze just past the tip of our nose. Inhale around your heart. And when you're ready, exhale. Pull the navel in. Relax through the upper back and let that upper back round. As we inhale, moving forward, opening ourselves up to receive the breath, we also open and give love from the front of the body. As we exhale, we close, we seal in that reservoir of love, and we open the back of the heart to receive love. You give of the breath and you receive love. You have to give something away to receive something, to make that space. And the breath expresses that so beautifully for us with every inhale and every exhale. As we open, as we inhale, we're able to give from the front of the body. As we exhale, we make space for ourselves to receive through the back of the heart. The color of the heart's energy is represented by green, bright green in yoga. So you may want to begin to imagine on every inhale, you're drawing in the color green to your body, and on every exhale, you're giving the color green out from the body. If it feels maybe odd or uncomfortable to engage in this energetic exchange of giving and receiving love, maybe consider other things that are extensions of that. Can we give grace? Can we practice patience? Inhale. Can our bodies express goodness, kindness, kindness. Exhale, and we express gentleness and self-control. Let's try maybe just one more of these. Maybe coming to any easy seated position and taking the feet out as wide as the hip bones, maybe just a little bit wider than the hips. Placing the hands on the thighs or knees. Let's come forward just a tiny bit, moving through 3 lion's breaths. Inhaling through the nose as much as possible. We'll exhale with a If you're concerned at all about how you look when you do this, just close your eyes so that you can't see people looking at you. Okay, big inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Here, slowly coming up. Let's take our right hand across to the left knee and gently allow yourself to rotate that belly button towards the left, maybe even drawing that left shoulder back. We might want to put our hand by the hip, maybe the left hand on the chair or the seat behind us, and we might invite the neck to turn, shifting our gaze over that left shoulder. What happens if we only shift the eyeballs to look towards the right temple, shifting the eyes without moving the head, practicing a different drishti, focal point. Notice any tension that creates in the eyes. There are muscles in the eyes moving back through the optic nerves. Notice that. And is it possible to soften our gaze, to maybe even find a place where the eyes can roam and eventually rest so that we notice that there is as much comfort as possible behind the eyes? Now try smiling just with your eyes, just with the eyes. Let's breathe into the upper left lung. Holding here as we exhale. Maybe breathe into the lower right hip and bring that breath into your belly. And now up to the upper left lung. Exhale, relaxing the left shoulder, the belly, and the right hip. Let's try maybe 1 or 2 more like that. And notice any excessive effort that goes into the breath. And notice how big the breath is. How much breath do we really need right now to sustain comfort? Brahmacharya, moderation in all things, even in the breath. You can hold it here or take your sweet time. Slowly relax the neck and the head. Let's slowly bring that left arm around. And then return the spine and the navel, neck and head to neutral. Let's inhale, come forward into a tiny baby cow. Option to lift the chin. And then exhale into a small cat. So we're just using this movement to center ourselves before we go into that rotation on the other side. Maybe we stay here, maybe we do the twist to the left again. Let your body lead you. Maybe find the inspiration just before your inhalation. Pause out of that exhale. Notice what the body wants. If you want to try the other side, left hand across to the right knee. Little swivel at the waist. Draw right shoulder back. Maybe the right hand comes down to the chair or on top of the seat behind us or down to the seat to rest. Again, maybe shift a little bit left and right to the sits bones. And notice, where is the energy shifting? And do we want to center that energy? Maybe we feel comfortable with just a little more weight in one hip versus the other. Bring awareness to the breath in the body. Notice where the gaze is. And naturally, what can happen is our gaze will follow the movement. So what happens if we uncouple that? What happens if we shift our gaze without moving the neck or the head? What happens if we begin to shift our eyes towards the left temple or towards the left ear? And as we pause there with the eyes shifted, is there any tension behind your right eye? Are there sensations of tension, work, stress, effort behind the left or the right eyeball? And maybe we begin to soften the gaze. Keeping awareness on the sensations in the eyes or shift to the breath. Breathing down into the left hip, through the belly, up to the right shoulder-bladed armpit. And exhale, soften the right shoulder, soften the belly, and then soften that left hip. And again, notice the expression on your face. Can we smile here? If we smile, what does the body say? Does the body say, I'm in agreement with this? Or do we smile and the body goes, this is not true for me. I'm not feeling happy about this position. Move into that space where your body is expressing honesty, satya. You may want to stay here or take your time and center the head and neck first. Allow the gaze to guide the whole body into a centered place for just a little bit more of that seated cat and cow. Inhaling forward with the heart and the belly, option to lift the chin and open the throat. And then exhale, pulling the navel in, dropping the neck and the head. We could continue to flow with the breath, allowing each inhale to initiate cow and every exhale initiates cat. Or we may discover that we want to hold one of those positions. Maybe we've never held cat before and inhaled. Sometimes we think, oh, we only exhale with cat pose. What happens if you hold cat pose and you breathe into the back of the heart, or breathe into the back sides of the ribs? Is it possible to hold cat and to breathe onto the outsides of the ribs? So you're breathing almost like a fish. If you envision a fish and its gills flaring out to filter water, maybe we hold cat pose and we feel the side ribs flaring out to filter the breath. Let's bring ourselves up into any centered position. From here, let's take maybe just our left leg and turn the toe out a little bit. And we might even just turn a little bit on the chair so that right toe might stay forward and the left toe turns out just a tiny bit. If you'd like to experiment with this movement a little more, please watch me first for sort of the mechanics in this. You are welcome to come down towards the floor with your right knee. And again, feel for that tipping point in the chair, right? Feel for that tipping point in the chair. So now you are welcome to experiment with lowering that knee, and we might call this a supported kneeling lunge in the chair. It could also be considered a similar movement in the hips for a warrior one position as well. From here, we may want to keep the hands low and supportive of the body, or we can experiment with circling one, or even both arms up towards the sky. And the body has already experimented with some other arm movements. So of course, you could take the hands out in front of you, lacing the fingers. You might even notice that the body wants to move. Maybe we do that movement of, you know, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. Maybe it feels different when we change the base of the pose. Let the body tell you what it wants, either stillness or movement. You can change your mind anytime. From Warrior One, we could experiment with a little twist here, placing the right hand on the left thigh, turning gently at the waist, left hand behind us. Let's position the head and the neck in alignment with the heart. So intuitively, the head and neck might be turning towards the left. Let's just see what happens if we uncouple that habit of turning the neck and the head with the rest of the body, but instead, mindfully, we dissect that movement of the throat and the head and keep the chin in alignment with the sternum and the heart. Let's lower the chin enough so that an egg could roll off our head. Exhale all the way, pause, and tighten the muscles in your pelvis. While we're holding here, I'm going to count to 3, and on the count of 3, we're going to act surprised and hold the breath. If you've already taken an inhale, exhale all the way. Tighten the muscles in the pelvis. 1, 2, 3, surprise. Navel in and up. Keeping the chin lowered. When you're ready, relax. Let's take 1 or 2 easy breaths. We could continue to breathe easy, or if you like, try that surprise breath again. Exhaling all the way. Tighten the pelvic floor, chin down. 1, 2, 3, surprise. Navel in and up, lengthening through the spine. Holding, 3, 2, 1, let it go. Breathe easy. So we want to reset the nervous system with a couple of easy breaths. If you want to try that little surprise breath again, you can try the movement of the belly, like the same mechanics of a surprise where the navel goes in and up, but don't take a breath. You can try that too. So exhale all the way. Tighten the muscles in the pelvis. Now just really quick, pull the belly button in and up without taking an inhale. And you might start to feel a pressure building in the chest, or even a pressure or a locking sensation in the throat that's really common. It's nothing to fear. When you're ready, let all of that go. From here, let's take our time to think about how the body might want to transition to center. If we have a knee on the floor, we might want to rock back into that left hip so we can slide that back leg forward, placing our feet either on the blocks or on the floor to transition. Gently turning to the other side. So you don't have to keep your right foot on a block. Sometimes when we come down into the lunge, sometimes the body is more comfortable having that front or leading leg on the floor, and then we could put our outside knee on the block. And you can tuck your back toe or untuck we establish our lunge or our warrior one hips, we can begin to move the arms in any natural way. Inhale, sweeping one or both arms. Practicing Ujjayi breath. Or open the mouth and practice that. Exhaling is going to fall here. Releasing heat, releasing this warm, vaporescent energy. You may even see it like this red, vaporescent ball that moves out from the body. In kids yoga, it's a fire-breathing dragon. If you'd like to try vocalizing with this, I'm going to count to 3 and then vocalize the sound. Ah. You're welcome to join me in that. Let's take a deep breath, moving the arms anyway. 1, 2, 3. Ah. 1, 2, 3. Ah. Maybe one more. Ah. From here, let's soften the whole body. You can stay with the chest centered, the chin centered, or take it into a gentle twist over to the right, keeping the chin centered with the sternum, the gaze centered with the heart. Lower the chin. If you'd like to practice that with a surprise breath, so the surprise breath sometimes can create a sensation of pressure or contraction in the body, and only you can determine if that pressure is creating harm or not. So take your time in digesting and studying those sensations if you want to practice that with surprise breath. Let's exhale all the way. Pause. Pull the pelvic floor up, and on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, surprise. Navel in and up. Lifting through the ribs, maybe lifting the collarbones up towards the chin. And when you're ready, exhale, relax. Let's take a few easy breaths. Ready, exhale all the way. Chin down, pelvic floor lifted, 1, 2, 3. Surprise. Notice the movement that the belly makes. That's really where the magic is. It's not so much in the surprising thing. When you're ready, relax. Now on this next one, let's try to only use the movement of the belly in and up really quick without inhaling. So we're going to stay in that space when we exhale. Exhale all the way. Chin down, pelvic floor lifted. 1, 2, 3. Pull that belly in and up. Hold it for as long as it feels right for you. You might sense me moving around the room right now. I have just decided to leave the chair so that I can close this back door. When your body tells you it's time to release that contraction, then it's time. Listen to the body. Breathing, feeling, listening to the body. At your leisure, become aware of where you are. Take your time to listen to the body. How might the body want to move to make its way to neutral? a moment to notice any sensations that may want to make themselves known through any type of movement in the body. So let's have a little bit of free time with this. Now, if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration with movement, go maybe into that circle again, of oscillating around the center of gravity. And the body has rehearsed this already. And you can layer onto this a cat and a cow with that oscillating, with that energy that orbits around your center of gravity. As we come forward, we can pull the belly button at an angle, drag it forward, pull it to the other side, and then come back, bring the belly button in, and circle around. And switch directions at any time with this. We may even decide that it feels better to do half circles. So maybe we just sort of draw this arc in the front or in the back of the body. Maybe we move just through the side body with it. There is no wrong way for us to move. There are just ways that we move, and there are responses from the body. And then we get to decide, do we want to stay with this? Do we want to move away from it? Move through it? Most of us have our arms stationary. Notice, do the arms want to move? Do the legs want to move out a little bit? Maybe your body wants to stand up and move around a little bit. We have the chair here to support us. We can always hold on to that chair for balance and shift the weight in the body. Do that same circle movement through the hips and the back. Continue to move in any way that you feel is right for you. As we are nearing the end of the movement practice, for those of you who might want to embrace some stillness during the guided meditation, maybe start thinking about where your body might want to be for meditation. So we do have our yoga mats, bolsters, blocks, blankets. We have our chair. If we're choosing to come down to the floor, we could experiment using the chair, putting our feet or legs on top of the chair. Yesterday we experimented with mountain brook pose, and we also experimented with a supported lying twist. You can still do the supported twist even with the chair. The supported twist with the chair looks a little like this. It's a pose that can be done even during pregnancy to ease tension along the back and to open up the kidneys, which can get all squished when you're pregnant. So what I like to a block and let your knees sway to one side. Maybe you sit at a table or at a desk and do this. So let's find as much length in the spine as possible, and then we would turn and bring that chair to wherever it's going to center with your belly button, and then we could walk the hands forward and relax the head on the hands. You could even put a blanket up here if you think it might be more comfortable. Maybe the seat is too low. We can put a block up here. If the seat is too low, you could also try sitting down lower on the floor. If you want to try maybe mountain brook like yesterday, having your legs swaddled, I'm happy to come around and swaddle legs. I can put blankets under hips. The legs can be swaddled when they are on a chair as well. So I want to give everyone at least a minute or two to move your props around so that you can experiment and have some freedom in your own space. And in a minute or so, I am going to come around and offer any assistance. If you know right now that you want a little bit of help where you are, maybe you would like an extra blanket, bolster, or block, I am looking around the room, and if you just kind of wave me down, I'll come right over to you. We have extra bolsters here, extra blankets, extra yoga mats and blocks. This meditation will be anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. So at any time if the mind begins to wander, or if the body says, how much longer are we going to be here? Your body knows 10 to 15 minutes. That's how long we will be here. And of course, you can move at any time. You don't have to force your body to be still. It's natural as energy shifts that the body may want to shift to move towards comfort. Moment to acknowledge any part of the body that wants your attention, any place that might be desiring a little tender, loving care or a healing breath. I am looking around the room still. If anyone wants an extra block or blanket, I'm going to walk around the room to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get a little assistance. So if you feel me moving past you, just know that you can flag me down for assistance. Right here, right now, we acknowledge the presence of the physical body, of the physical form. And as we inhale, notice where does the breath go in the body, acknowledging that intimate connection between the body and the breath. We may begin to trace the path of the breath by way of physical sensation, catching that glimpse or sense of the breath in the nostrils or in the mouth, and by way of feeling, noticing the breath's own vibratory pattern or movement through the body. It might move down the throat, behind the heart, and into the lungs, or it could travel into the shoulders, into the hips. And maybe the breath enters through other parts of the body. So maybe we sense that the breath approaches through the hips, enters through the soles of the feet, the palms of the hands. Maybe it enters through the crown of the head. Truly, the whole body has the ability to absorb the breath through the skin. Notice if the body absorbs the breath through the feet, the hands, and the top of the head. And can the breath be led directly to the heart? Maybe receiving the breath through the hands, the feet, and the crown of the head, bringing it to the heart. And then as we exhale, releasing the breath from the front or back of the heart space. We may want to assign a color to the breath, perhaps an amber gold light, a warm, healing light. Noticing the viscosity of the breath. Maybe it moves like honey. It could be even slower, moving like molasses. Watching as the breath moves into the body, this rich current of gold light, directing it directly to the center of the chest. And as we exhale, we sense an opening of the heart under the armpits, at the front of the chest, and behind the heart, releasing the breath as a bright white light. This white light is a testament to the healing power of love, the healing power of self-love, to love the body, to love the breath, to embrace and love our thoughts and our emotions, all that there is to experience in being human. What might it feel like right now to allow ourselves to experience radical love and acceptance of all that we are, of all that makes us who or what we think we are? Our body, our body's sensations, our breath, our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs and observations, radically accepting and loving unconditionally all that makes us who and what we are to be in the human form. For the next few easy breaths on every inhale, hearing the sound so. And on every exhale, hearing the sound hum. Inhaling so, exhaling hum. The breath might become very shallow here. As the body relaxes, the body has less and less need for a big breath. feel like in this moment. And we could always practice pacing ourselves, moving towards that biggest breath in the next 5 breaths. So thinking about where we are now and where we suspect that biggest breath to be. On this next inhale, we're only breathing in with about 20% of our volume. The next inhale is just less than half of your effort. The next breath in is just a little more than half the effort. The next breath, we're almost to a full breath. And then eventually we embrace that one really big breath. It may be the biggest and most mindful breath of the day. And you can hold it if you want. You can hold it for as long as it feels right for you and let it go. And you can try that again. Maybe we notice that the bigger breath is not the better breath for us. Maybe it's just a little bit less. We do not have to move from where we are, especially if the body is really embracing some peace right now. Please just let the body stay where it is, apart from any voices that come from the ego that say you need to get up. Just let the body be. If you know that your body wants to come up or wants to change positions, allow yourself to do that in your own time. There is a particular hand gesture we can do that is used in the management of uncomfortable sensations. You can curl your index finger down and then cross the thumb just between those 2 knuckles in the index finger. Palms can stay up. Or palms can come down, and this can be done with one hand. So in cases where we're feeling tight, discomfort, maybe it just doesn't feel right for us, right? Maybe it just isn't a physical sensation, it's an intuition, a thought of, this is not right for me, or this is right for me. Go with that. From wherever we are, let's sit nice and tall. If you'd like to practice chanting Om with me today, we're going to chant it 3 times. So we'll just take in a big breath, chant Om, Ah, until we run out of breath, and then take a breath, do it again. And it can be more like an Om circle. We don't have to initiate the sound at the same time. Do what's right for you. Let's exhale all the way. Drawing in a breath. Loosely translated, suffering when possible should be avoided. From here we can bow together in closing. Peace with us all. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.